Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of a horror film from the United States of America, English language, released in the year 2010, directed by Joe Johnston, and this film is called The Wolfman. And the story of The Wolfman is as follows. Inspired by the classic Universal film, The Wolfman stars Benicio del Toro as Lawrence Talbot, a haunted nobleman who returns home to his family estate after his brother's fiancée, Gwen Conliffe, begs him to help her find her missing love. Reunited with his estranged father, Talbot sets out to find his brother, and discovers that a beast with an insatiable bloodlust has been killing villagers, and that a suspicious Scotland Yard inspector named Aberline has come to investigate. But as he hunts for the nightmarish beast, Talbot discovers a horrifying destiny for himself. So the movie stars Benicio del Toro, who plays the main character of Lawrence Talbot. He is coming back to his family estate because word has got out that his brother has gone missing. So his brother's fiancée wants Lawrence to do some investigation and trying to get to the bottom of this. Now he finds out that his brother was mauled by a beast, and this beast has been terrorizing the countryside for a long time, and a lot of villagers have turned up dead. So while Lawrence is trying to hunt this beast, he finds out a shocking truth behind his family, especially his father, estranged father that he's reunited with. His father has been keeping secrets from him that prove very dangerous, and whether or not Lawrence Talbot comes out of this ordeal alive, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on the film. I didn't go into this one with any expectation. A lot of people have been criticising the film, so I wasn't expecting to like it. But I can say that I was very pleasantly surprised. What I love about this film so much is that it has a very gothic approach, and it really feels like you're watching a classic horror film. Although it is a mainstream film, it has enough quality in there to pay homage to the classic, The Wolfman. Now, I haven't seen the original, so I can't really comment on that, but it feels like you're watching the classic yourself. It's done in a very gothic fairy tale approach, and I felt that I was watching a classic horror film, and it stays true to the classic. The Wolfman is not it doesn't turn into a complete beast where it's running on all fours all the time. It actually looks like a Wolfman, and that's something that pictures of the Wolfman in the past, it comes up and it seems very outdated. That back in the day it was scary, but now when you get films like American Werewolf in London, you get that sort of, it's much more of a beastly appearance, whereas this movie stays true to the overall idea of the Wolfman. It's a man, but so happens to be a wolf. So it has that humane and beastly sort of appearance, and that's something that really took me back to the years of classic horror. And so I really felt that this film was paying a lot of respect to the actual classic, and it really does feel like a classic film, although you are watching something that is of a new wave. So that really, I appreciated that. Now, some parts it looked a little bit fake, it looked artificial, that it kind of felt like they were on a studio and that it was just a back screen, but I really liked the setting. It kind of reminded me of films like Sleepy Hollow, where it's just a very nightmarish, gothic, fairy tale sort of film, and it really has a lot of dread to it. So this definitely, if you like the feeling of Sleepy Hollow, which I actually liked, you're going to like the feeling of this film because it's a very strong similarity between the two films. Now, it's quite a scary film. I mean, there were some scenes that they used a lot of fog, and a lot of suspense in it as well. You're waiting for the Wolfman to attack, you just don't know when. And I actually felt that the director does a very good job. He has a very good soundtrack that helps contribute to the suspenseful scenes, and I was surprised that it actually felt like a horror film. It's nothing that feels like the directors were making it for the money. It actually felt that this director was a fan of the original, and he was putting his own little spin on it, but at the same time maintaining that classic horror film feel to it. So if you're a fan of the classics, you're going to really like the way that this one was shot, because cinematography, as I said, feels like you're watching a new sort of film, but at the same time it feels like you're watching one of the old sort of creature feature films. Some of the CGI was a little bit dodgy, especially when the werewolf transforms. Now, a lot of criticisms over the fact the transformation scene wasn't that good. It was CGI, but I thought it was good enough. It didn't take it out for me, and it stays true to what it is, a fun sort of horror film, and it is a throwback. So it's nothing that's going to make you disturbed beyond belief. But it is, as I said, it's something that you can pick up and have a lot of fun with. Now, some of the gore was really good. It's CGI gore, which is something I usually don't like, but I actually thought the CGI gore looked pretty cool. And once again, it matches that gothic fairy tale feel. It's out of the realm, it's kind of like from a different dimension, and the violence stays true to the overall theme. So it's a lot more violent than I actually thought it would be, and I thought for the most part it was pretty cool. Now, The pacing of the film, it goes for a little bit too long. It kind of drags in certain areas, but eventually it decides to pick itself up again, so it doesn't get bogged down completely. Now, the acting is very good. Benicio del Toro was very well cast, although I didn't really believe him as an American in England. It's set in England, but it's in fact an American film. And then you've got Anthony Hopkins, as the father. And I really didn't like that chemistry between the father and son because it didn't feel real, because Benicio del Toro felt like a foreigner, whereas Anthony Hopkins felt like a traditional Englishman. So the chemistry between the two, I didn't really believe in the relationship. It kind of felt like Benicio del Toro was just meeting a stranger, and, that father-son combination didn't quite work. But Anthony Hopkins does a fantastic job once again. And then you've got Hugo Weaving, who plays the inspector who's investigating these crimes. I thought he did a great job as well. So the acting is very, very good. I can't. Emily Blunt plays the love interest. I actually thought that side story of the love interest was pretty good. Kind of lets the film down a little bit at the end with that side story of the love. But for the most part, all the characters do intertwine with each other very well, and it does captivate you in a very interesting story. Now, my problem with the film, it has the traditional Hollywood showdown at the end. I really thought it could have done without that. It kind of just took everything out for me. I thought, it's just, the massive battle of good versus evil. After this battle, everything will be tied up and, it'll end. Whereas a lot of foreign horror films, they won't leave that sort of finale up, and it doesn't necessarily tie up all loose ends. So I felt that this film would have benefited from more of a foreign ending. But having said that, the ending doesn't ruin the film. It is actually quite a decent ending right at the end. But that showdown between good and evil, the hero and the villain, I thought it really could have done without that, because it did go down stereotypical sort of Hollywood horror films, and it kind of steered away from the classic feeling that the film had going for the majority. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this film, and I would highly recommend it for anyone out there who is skeptical at seeing it based on other people's opinions. But if you're like me and you want something that's a little bit fun, this movie won't disappoint you, because I was pleasantly surprised. It was a hell of a lot better than I initially thought it would be. So I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I mean, this is a movie that is well worth the effort. If you like your classic horror films and you like films that pay respect to the older generation, then this is definitely one that you could give it a shot on a Friday night with a group of friends. So 3.5 stars for the American horror film The Wolfman. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.